Johnny Dollar.
John, this is Harry Branson at
Philadelphia Mutual Liability and Casualty Insurance Company.
What?
Well?
Well, yes, of course. Where else would I be?
Well, I don't know. Maybe we better give that a little thought, huh?
Yes, perhaps. Oh, now, John, I wish you wouldn't do this. It confuses me so.
All right, Harry, don't let it throw you.
But every time I call you up on some serious insurance matter, you start this nonsensical, why waste time discussing it?
To say nothing of the money for this long-distance call.
Exactly.
Okay. Goodbye.
Goodbye? No.
Well, which is it?
Oh, please, John, please. This is very important.
I'm sure it is, Harry.
You must come down here and see me right away.
Well, what's the trouble?
Well, one of my clients, a gentleman by the name of Eustace Royal Pennybank.
Pennybank.
Yes.
Wait a minute. Isn't he that bug chaser, that butterfly collector who hit all the picture magazines a few years ago?
Butterfly chaser, indeed. He's one of the greatest entomological researchers in the country today.
I'm sure he is.
Entomology, John, is a branch of zoology dealing with insects.
Well, what happened? One of his bugs get loose and take a nip out of him?
Oh, far worse than that, John. From what he told me on the phone, the work of his whole career, perhaps even his very life, is being threatened.
Threatened by whom?
I don't know. But if you'll fly on down right away, I'll have him meet you here in my office and tell you himself. Now, according to this time...
All right, Harry, all right. Just keep your shirt on. I'll be there.
The CBS Radio Network brings you Bob Readick in the exciting adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to the Philadelphia Mutual Liability and Casualty Insurance Company in Philadelphia. Where else? Following is an account of expenses incurred during my investigation of the Latrodectus matter. Expense account item 1, $25.25. Taxi to Bradley Field, a plane to Philadelphia, and then a cab into Harry's office on Walnut Street. There he introduced me to a tall, gaunt, gray-haired man in his 60s, whose almost green eyes were as sharp and piercing as any I'd ever seen. In his own way, he made no bones about being quite an authority in his field.
Understand this, Mr. Dollar. The results of my research always have been, always will be, of inestimable value to the scientific world.
No question of it, John.
Mr. Branson.
Dr. Pennybank is without question one of the finest, the most famous for his work among the low...
Mr. Branson, please.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Harry, let the doctor tell it his own way.
Yes, Mr. Dollar, I insist upon it. And without further interruption, Mr. Branson.
Well, I was only trying to make clear that I was, Yes.
Yes. In my safe at my home are literally priceless records resulting from my researches in toxicology.
That is to say, poisons, John. You see, the doctor
Branson?
here... Sorry.
Go on, Doctor.
You see, I alone was able to determine that the South Jersey cattle killings some years ago were accomplished with the venom of Gistrodon mocasin.
With what, sir?
Of course, I must pardon your ignorance of such matters.
Oh, please do.
I proved that the killers of that unfortunate dairy herd used the deadly venom of the snake known as a copperhead.
Copperhead.
Believe me, sir, no one else would have been capable of differentiating it from the poison of, say, Gistrodon piscivorus. The water moccasin, as any child should know.
Fascinating, Dr. Pennybank.
That, Mr. Dollar, was before I decided to devote my unique talents solely to entomology, particularly to study and classification of the various arachnida.
Arachnida.
A rather profuse class of the order Araneida.
Well, I'm afraid you're still over my head, Doctor.
I don't doubt it. The Araneida comprise a small part of the insect world.
Oh, I see.
I doubt it.
Well, I try.
Suffice it to say, however, I have produced findings and maintained the necessary records that are of international importance in these troubled times.
Of course.
And someone has been after them. Although I've seen no visible sign. I'm certain that attempts have been made to enter my home, my laboratory, several times, and always at night.
Well, if the findings on these insects or poisons or whatever are of international importance, why not turn them over to some government agency?
Of course, I shall, after I have completed my research, checked and double-checked everything. Meanwhile, I must have all these records, these papers, immediately accessible.
Well, what about having copies made that can be kept in, say, a bank vault?
Well, that would incur the risk of having the information they contain leak out through whoever made the copies.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Meanwhile, by way of protection, I have isolated a select group of the genus Latrodectus.
What?
Latrodectus. Good heavens, man, don't you know anything?
All right. Latrodectus.
However, if my watch is correct, I must go now.
Tell me this, Doctor. Aren't you taking a chance leaving your place to come here and talk to me?
I left my place. It's in Kinwood, you know.
Kinwood's one of our suburbs, John.
Yes, I know.
Please, I left not to come here and see you. You will come and see me this evening. Mr. Branson will give you the address. I left only because I must make a luncheon speech before a group at the Academy of Science, whether they like it or not. I am late for it now, Mr. Dollar. I will see you this evening.
Oh, now wait, please.
I
Doctor.
am late.
But I got the idea from Harry that you yourself might be in danger.
That's right. They would stop at nothing to get at my records. That's why I must see you this evening, Mr. Dollar.
Now wait, just a minute, please.
This
Dr. Penny...
evening.
Harry... Are you sure this famous man of yours hasn't become just an old crackpot?
John, how can you?
Well, perhaps he was a great brain once, but now...
Well, they wrote him up in all those picture
It was
magazines.
some years ago.
But, of course, my concern is over the $50,000 policy we've written on his life.
Oh? Who's the beneficiary?
Several scientific organizations and a niece by the name of Clara Benson.
Well, if somebody is trying to get at him, which I doubt, maybe I better check up on her. Meantime, give me his address. Item 2, $1 for a cab to the Bellevue Stratford where I parked my bag. Item 3, $2.85 for lunch. Item 4, $50 deposit on a rental car. I did a little sightseeing by way of killing time, and then about 3 p.m., figuring Dr. Pennybank had had plenty of time to finish his lecture on the birds and bees and get back to his home, I drove out to the address in Kinwood. The house was a small affair of weathered stone surrounded by poplar and maple trees, a garage at the rear. As I walked up the steps, I heard a door close in the back, so I knew he'd returned. Funny. Dr. Pennybank? Don't tell me that he's left again. That's funny. Unlocked. Well. Hello? Anybody home? Dr. Penny... Dr. Pennybank. Doctor? Good Lord. Dr. Pennybank was dead, all right. 2 bullets through the chest had taken care of that. That car, the one that pulled away from the back, one of the brand new compact models in a dark green, at least I'd seen that much. But as for license number, or whoever was in it, why hadn't I really taken a good look at it? What I did take a good look at, though, was Pennybank's laboratory in a wing at the far end of the hall. The laboratory was alive, with more varieties of bugs and beetles, butterflies and moths, roaches, spiders, and scorpions that I'd never seen before. They were in little clear plastic cages, row after row of them, all about the sides of the room, piled up sometimes 10, 12, 15 high, neatly in groups of each kind. And all the insects were alive. There were sacks and boxes, even a small refrigerator full of 1,000 different kinds of food for them. And the sound as they scratched or walked, or fluttered, or simply rubbed their wings together. Well, it was a strange sound, and I felt strangely uncomfortable. Some of them, especially the moths and some of the spiders, were very beautiful. On one of the tiny cages, I saw the word the doctor had used. Latrodectus. And under it, the words, Black Widow. That cage was empty. Well, so much for spiders. I had a gunshot murder on my hands. I started toward the telephone in the hall to put in a call to the police when I heard heavy footsteps outside the front door, which I'd closed but not locked. The steps sounded cautious. I drew my gun, slipped to one side to be in back of the door if it was opened. And through the frosted glass, I could see the shadow of a man. Then, as he gently pushed open the door, I rushed him.
Okay, brother.
No, you don't.
The gun out of my hand, will you?
Just hold it there, officer.
Who are you?
I'm sorry about the rough stuff, officer. I thought you were his killer, coming back to make sure he'd done the job right.
Killer? What are you talking about? Who are you?
Here, you better see my credentials. I'm Johnny Dollar, special investigator. Here.
Okay. So it looks okay, but don't you know better than to jump a cop?
Well, I'll tell you
What was
this.
that crack about a killer?
Look for yourself, over there.
What?
And here. You better have your gun.
$8. It's Dr. Pennybank.
That's right.
Dead?
Dead.
Well, I guess that means only one thing.
You think you know who might have done it?
Yes, sir. In other words, now it's my turn. That's right, Dollar, whatever your name is. Now, you and me are going to take a little ride into headquarters.
I suppose I couldn't blame him. Officer Folland, I mean. But at headquarters, where my prints and identification were thoroughly looked into, he ended up apologizing to me. Meanwhile, a lab crew went out and took a look at Dr. Pennybank's body, and then hauled it in for the autopsy required by law. The first report stated only that he'd been killed instantly at close range with a .25 caliber Colt automatic. No clues whatsoever to his killer.
And he kept very much to himself, Dollar.
Well, now, Sergeant.
We found that out when he asked us to have somebody check in on him now and then if there was anything unusual around. You know, like Officer Folland saw your car parked out front.
I see.
Only traces of anybody else that we could find.
Yeah?
Some things belonging to the cleaning woman who used to go in once a week, and some clothing and stuff that belongs to his niece.
Clara Benson.
Yes, sir, that pretty young widow. She used to drop in on him, cook him a good meal, spend the night now and then.
Do you have her address?
Yes, sir. We're trying to get in touch with her now, tell her the bad news.
Only I'd taken a really good look at the car that pulled away when I got there.
Well, it's too bad you didn't, because your description could fit at least a couple of thousand cars here in the Philadelphia area. What I'd like to find is that little gun that was used. But, of course, unless we do, and it has some prints on it.
One of his belt loops was torn, as though a keychain had been ripped off.
No sign of any keychain, Dollar. The boys went over the place, even that crazy laboratory with a fine-tooth comb.
Tell me, Sergeant, have you checked on that cleaning woman you mentioned?
She's been laid up in the hospital the past couple of weeks. Still is.
Well, that lets her out.
Yeah. No, she freely admitted she was fed up with that cantankerous old crackpot and all these bugs, same as anybody else in his right mind would be. But, Dollar, she's in the clear. Yes, those bugs. Millions of them.
Latrodectus.
What, sir?
For protection, he'd said.
What did you say?
Latrodectus. And, Sergeant, it's suddenly given me a really wild hunch.
Like what?
Just give me an address, and I'll see you later. The lovely young widow, Clara Benson, there at her modest little apartment, was just exactly that. Lovely. Tall, black-haired, with a complexion that other girls can only dream about. A very plain, black-sheath dress couldn't hide her beautiful figure. The kind you don't write home about. Although obviously upset, she controlled herself well. But her dark eyes were red from weeping.
Yes, Mr. Dollar, the policeman came and told me all about it. Why, oh, why does a terrible thing like this have to happen to a nice, fine old man like Uncle Eustace?
I wish I knew.
And he wasn't senile or any of those other things people said. He was just trying to prove he was still a great scientist.
You have no idea who might have done it, Clara?
Oh, no, Johnny. May I call you Johnny?
I wish you would.
Thank you. No, I don't see how anyone could have murdered him. What if it was a little peculiar that his whole life was wrapped up in all those bugs and things, that he spent all his time and money on them? Was he doing any harm to anyone?
Well, from what he told me, Clara, your uncle seemed to think he was on the track of something very important, something worth a great deal of money.
What was it, Johnny?
You don't know?
Oh, I understood that some of the men who came to see him now and then wanted to give him money for the reports he kept hidden away.
What men? Do you know who they were?
Just people who came to see him.
Reports hidden away, hidden where?
I don't know, Johnny. I don't care.
Did any of the people that you mentioned ever approach you about these important papers?
Me? Why should they?
That is your car I saw out front, isn't it?
Yes, that poor, dear old beat-up. Oh, no, Johnny.
What?
The policeman told me about the car you saw. Surely you didn't think it could have been mine, that I could possibly... Oh, no. Do I look like the kind who could... Oh, no, that's a horrible thought. How dare you think that? Oh, I'm sorry, Johnny, but I'm so upset. And I feel so alone. First it was Ralph, my husband, and now my uncle, and I'm sorry.
Now, how did your husband die, Clara?
Some awful hit-and-run driver. They never did find out. And, Johnny, I'm so alone now.
If I knew where he'd hidden those papers, I wonder if there'd be any key to this whole thing.
I don't know, but how could they? Where could they be?
Well, maybe if I can get out this way and tomorrow, maybe I'll kind of look around his house again.
Tomorrow?
I left my bag in at the Bellevue Stratford in town.
I will see you again, won't I, Johnny?
Sure. And now things were adding up. Item, cui bono. Who benefits? Apparently none but this beautiful, black-haired young widow. Item, who did kill her husband? But we better let that one pass. Yet the gun that killed the doctor was .25 caliber. A woman's gun? Could be. Item, those valuable papers. The doctor had mentioned a safe, possibly a wall safe. So what about the keys that were taken from his body? Item, Latrodectus. Black Widow. Pennybank had said for protection. And then another hunch. Somehow I didn't feel that shoddy, beat-up old car went with Clara's personality. It was getting late, but I started hunting up nearby used car lots, and luck was with me. At my third stop, I found the dealer who'd sold her that old wreck. And when? That very afternoon.
Oh, mister, why she'd trade in this nice new green compact here for that old thing is beyond me. But why she'd complain with what I did?
Now, that cinched it for me. I drove on back to Clara's apartment, and as I fully expected, she wasn't there. I tore on out to her uncle's home. It was after dark now, but I parked well over a block away and approached the place quietly. Under one of the drawn shades, I could see there was a light on somewhere inside. The front door, as I thought it might be, was locked, but I managed to jimmy a window in the laboratory wing. Inside, nothing but the sounds of the insects. Carefully feeling my way, trying to remember the layout of the house from prowling around in the afternoon, I looked for the source of the light. It was coming from the kitchen. And as I approached it through the hallway, at the far side, I could see a door, an open door, leading down to a lighted basement. And below, I could hear the ring of keys against metal, the turning of a lock. The wall safe. I could hear it clank open. And then, gun in hand, as I was about to sneak on down the stairs.
No!
Clara!
No, help! Take her away! Take her away from me! Get away! Get away! Oh, no! Oh, no!
Clara! But by the time I could reach her side and beat them away, she had fallen unconscious. She'd been struck by tens, by scores of them, on her hands, on her arms, struck down by the beautiful, deadly protectors of that safe. Latrodectus. Black widows. Clara died within minutes, before I could possibly get help. And the papers she'd killed her uncle to obtain? Nothing. Nothing but the confused scribblings of a demented old man. Expense account total, including the trip back to Hartford, $111.35. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Now, here is our star to tell you about next week's story.
Next week, one of the toughest gangs I ever had to deal with. A gang of kids, a rat pack. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Readick, is written by Jack Johnstone, produced and directed by Bruno Zerato Jr. Musical supervision by Ethel Huber. Heard in our cast were Lawson Zerby as Dr. Pennybank, Elaine Rost as Clara Benson, Robert Dryden as Harry Branson, Ralph Bell as the police sergeant, and Jack Grimes as Officer Folland. Be sure to join us next week, same time and station, for another exciting story of Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Art Hanna speaking. This is the CBS Radio Network.